just ask yourself a simple hypothetical question. If a politician today told you the truth and said, listen, here's what it looks like. I'm going to advocate for a free market and I'm going to let all prices collapse. And this is what it means for everything. What I just said about no food on shelves, banking failures and everything else. Would you vote for them? No one would vote for them. They would be ostracized. So politicians are incented to lie and drive more and more inflation, and they're incented to say, I'm going to help you, the person who's been most hurt from this because of those rich people, and they're going to print more money to transfer more wealth. But they have to now, and that's why you need a parallel system like Bitcoin. Because this is a global system problem that can't solve it from the system. It's impossible. You have either complete credit collapse or you have inflation rate that keeps on going.
Jeff Booth je jedan od najbogatijih i najpoznatijih američkih autora i preduzetnika. On je jedan od osnivača Build Directa, tehnološke kompanije koja teži ka tome da pojednostavi građevinsku industriju. Jeff Booth je odličan primer vizionarskog vođe koji je pratio promene tehnologije u poslednjih 20 godina. U ovom videu možete čuti njegovo mišljenje o Bitcoinu kao paralelnom sistemu plaćanja, kao i brojne zanimljivosti o El Salvadoru, maloj državi u Južnoj Americi, gde je Bitcoin zvanična valuta plaćanja.
Ovaj video sponzorisan je od strane CryptoUnity-a, startup projekta naših ljudi sa Balkana. CryptoUnity platforma, za razliku od mnogih ostalih menjačnica, pruža interfejs jednostavan za korišćenje sa tehnologijom hladnog novčanika, takozvanog cold walleta za bezbedno skladištenje kriptovaluta. Njihova kriptovaluta KAT, token menjačnice, je trenutno u pretprodaji i još uvek se može kupiti po sniženoj ceni, koja se svake nedelje do kraja pretprodaje povećava. Svi naši pratioci koji odluče da kupe preko linka koji se nalazi u opisu videa dobijaju bonus od 5% KAT tokena.
Bitcoin, I think, is probably the only way out for a lot of folks in this environment. How do you see Bitcoin playing out, and why do you see it as the only way out?
When I wrote my book, and I only had a paragraph on Bitcoin in my book, but because I wanted to talk about the structural issues and then a potential way out. But I've been talking about this for 10 plus years, and trying to find a way out of this, and really for my kids, probably the simplest way I could explain this is throughout history, same thing Ray Dalio talks about. You could just say, if a money could be corrupted for some people's gain over some people's expense, positive externalities, negative externalities, it will be. Not it might be. It will be for sure, and history proves it. Seizing of gold, changing of the rules of gold. History proves that will happen always. And it's because human nature is inside that state. We care about ourselves first rather than some far off land. And so we will do that. Humans will do that if a money can be controlled. And Bitcoin is the only thing that I've seen that removes that temptation or power from us, our human nature, to compete against other people. And it's kind of a profound thing because it moves global competition to global cooperation and a different Schelling point. And assuming that stays true, Bitcoin remains decentralized, which I suspect it will. And then it's out of the hands of people to be able to manipulate it. Now, when people say, okay, well, why are prices going down, manipulation on Bitcoin if more and more people are buying? There are people creating leveraged products on Bitcoin today, and some of the exchanges will fail on Bitcoin. And when this price goes, make sure you hold Bitcoin on your own private wallet and your own keys, because over time, when this thing goes parabolic, is going to take out a whole bunch of exchanges that are levered, and you're going to see what happens, because Bitcoin doesn't care, doesn't have that counterparty risk unless you impose that counterparty risk by leveraging yourself onto somebody else's exchange. But that decentralization and taking that money out of control of human nature means we're forced to cooperate. Mm-hmm. And in labor, we'll often miss that the buyer and seller are actually the same person. Mm-hmm. So all of our labor shows up as somebody buying our labor. Mm-hmm. But because we miss that, so we miss that we can use Zoom now for effectively free. And that removed a whole bunch of other businesses because now that message can touch millions of people all over the world, essentially for free. And yet we don't want prices to fall over. We want our house prices to go up forever. Yet all the things we choose in our lives, we want more value in. Mm-hmm. So we miss that it's the same thing, right? All of our labor is somebody else's buying. And so we want all of our things we choose to go down in price, yet we want our assets to go up in price. And that's because of the system that wouldn't look like that system. Prices of housing would fall to their utility value. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't be used as a store of value in a market that didn't require leverage. And so all of these prices, as technology removed labor, would fall in lockstep. That's why I say it would be the broadest distribution of tech. We would still compete to create products. We would still create great technology, and the only way to win would be to delivering value to somebody else in their terms. That's the only way to get more Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. In their terms, and what would happen out of that is prices would fall. Everybody would win. Mm-hmm. So that's the world we're moving to. It's going to be chaotic on the way there. If you're living in Bitcoin, if you're managing your world in Bitcoin right now, what you're seeing is prices against Bitcoin fall forever. Mm-hmm. Every price falls forever. But if you're measuring your world in a fiat currency, you're thinking prices are going to rise forever.
Yeah. When you recently went to El Salvador, and I think that they're probably the closest thing so far to that world. Now, of course, everything's not priced in Bitcoin. Every single citizen is not even holding Bitcoin or interested in Bitcoin. But when you went, what were some of your takeaways in terms of kind of what they're doing? And is that an example of kind of where the world is headed, or is it maybe not so clear yet?
There's a lot of powers that are trying to stop that, mm-hmm. or not trying to stop. So international powers, to be international system that are trying to stop that experiment. Because once El Salvador is a currency, then it's a currency everywhere. Other nations can just say it's a currency, and it moves around the world. You're going to see some of that. You're going to see some of that at this conference, but. It is early. It is really early in El Salvador in this. But what I saw is, again, I've traveled extensively all over the world, and I've gone to some places that people think, oh, why would you go there? It's really unsafe. And I heard the same thing going to El Salvador, and I saw the exact opposite. I saw just beautiful people, and maybe for the first time in a long time, hope. Mm-hmm. And that's really powerful. Mm-hmm. Because essentially crime comes out of, most of this comes down to an economic calculation. And when you break that and people see hope that they have another path, they take the other path. Mm-hmm. And that entrepreneurial adventure, I met a guy, he calls himself the Bitcoin taxi guy, and you should meet him. He's just like full of energy. And he was dirt poor. I think he had a grade 3 education, and no hope. Mm-hmm. And when Bitcoin came in, he wanted to learn it, so he learned it. Now he has 3 different drivers working for him. Everybody that goes there looks up the Bitcoin taxi guy, and he's expanding. And you should see that hope is palpable. Like it's so cool to meet people on the ground, watch actual people, not what you hear through the media and what it looks like for them. It is still early though. It's not widely accepted there. There's still, what does it look like here? But I would say really hopeful.
Looks good, yeah.